Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's yet another day and another Sweet Baby Inc. video. This one, we're going to talk about the CEO and a recent video that's been going around of a presentation that she made. It's about a half an hour long, 30 minutes long, and she basically just completely admits everything we have said about literally every single possible company that has to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh no, it's bad. It's real bad.
So we have an article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, Sweet Baby Inc. CEO and co-founder Kim Blair compares white male gamers to picky babies. Now listen, guys, I know the headline's very strong, but there is so much more in that video, and I'm going to react to it on Hypnocast. We have a stream every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys go check it out and come hang out with us. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, she did do something for the Game Developers Conference where she basically went into her entire job, what she does, and why Sweet Baby Inc. is so important. And of course, she proved every single thing that we have ever said about people like this, like they self-insert themselves. She actually said that. She says she self-inserts herself and she writes stories for herself. That's literally what she said. So she self-inserts herself, and on top of that too, she's very anti-male, anti-white people, very typical things you would expect from a CEO of a company like Sweet Baby Inc. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before you do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Sweet Baby Inc. CEO and co-founder Kim Blair previously compared white male gamers to picky gamers as she explained how her company gained influence on major video game developers during a 2019 Game Developers Conference. Now, all this old stuff is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And why is that happening, right? Why is that happening? Well, quite frankly, it's because the news cycle is very strong right now on Sweet Baby Inc. Let's be real. Not only that, this company is now in the spotlight. This company loved operating in the shadows. They do not like to be in the spotlight. The employees have come out and actually said that they are upset over the fact that they are in the limelight. They do not like to be in the light because when they're doing weird shit like this, when they're doing creepy stuff like this, they like to operate in the shadows as most evil does, right? When evil gets light shine on it, you know already what happens. So now you have another example of the CEO and an old video like this from 2019 being resurfaced because now people are finally realizing what this company is like, and it's bringing the ultimate question to the table. Why are we allowing companies like this to do what they do to our video games? Why? So it says, at the beginning of her presentation, Blair made it abundantly clear what her and her company's goals are. We do narrative development in games and kind of beyond, and we try to bring inclusion, diversity, and new kinds of ideas to the industry. Later in her presentation, she also confirmed that the company acts as sensitivity readers for video games, saying we need sensitivity readers, we need risk assessment. And these are, like, again, important services that I literally like list on every PDF that I send out to be like, hey, I can do a risk assessment and sensitivity reading. Imagine being, I mean, she's got to be a skilled salesman, okay? She has to be a skilled salesman because she was able to convince these companies that they desperately need something called a sensitivity reader and a risk assessment specialist. Like, imagine like being able to be that skilled that you can sell this kind of a fake job to someone and they're going to pay you so much money that you became a CEO of a company. Imagine that. Just imagine that for a second. That's the world we live in right now. It says about 2/3 through the 30-minute presentation, Blair compared white male gamers to picky babies, saying, I think in our industry and in so many creative industries, if you want to look at film and television and any art form, we start treating our core demographics as a fixed and static value, something that does not want to change and something that is locked in place. So despite the changing face of audiences, despite the changing face of conferences like this one, we still look at our core demographics and say, okay, they're white, cis, hetero males, and we cater almost exclusively to them. They don't. Games have not catered exclusively to white, cis, hetero males. You know what games always cater to? Check this out. You ready for this? It's not white males. It's not cis, hetero, white males. You know what games cater to back in the day? I'll tell you what, games cater to gamers, ladies and gentlemen. Games cater to actual real gamers, not tourists. These are tourists. These are not real gamers. These are people who are using the gaming scene like every other fucking form of media right now to push their own ideology in it. So when they say that games were catered to white males exclusively or almost exclusively, that's bullshit. Games were catered to gamers. That's how it was back in the day. And unfortunately, not so much now. It says, and the problem is that we don't just cater to them like, here's something we think you'll enjoy. We cater to them like a picky baby. Wow, interesting. Considering this is the person who literally left her company at Ubisoft because she didn't feel safe. She didn't feel safe in her office space, her Silicon Valley job. She didn't feel safe. She had to go make another company. Otherwise, there was no way she was going to be allowed in the gaming space as a black marginalized female. Oh my God. She then elaborated, we feed them the same thing that we know that they love, and we keep on feeding it. We're like, here you go. We know you love it. Eat this, eat this. So then when we get anything else, or when they get anything else, they react as a picky baby would, which would be like, oh, no, thank you. I don't want this. And we've actually done this so long that what we're doing is creating an entire nation of picky babies, and they make us scared to deviate from what we actually want to do, just in case these picky babies don't want to play our games. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, let's make it very clear. She has literally admitted that they want to change the entire landscape of gaming, okay? They want to change the entire landscape of gaming. They're upset that players and gamers are not allowing that change to take place very easily. That's what makes them most upset. So they do all these presentations. They call you all these names in the hopes that you're going to somehow, some way, eventually say, you know what, fine, just ruin my game. It's all good. No, that's not going to happen. Interestingly, while Belair's entire discussion on what was about she can add black characters to video games under the guise of representation, she revealed she actually advised one company to remove a Frenchman. She revealed, I once worked on a project where they had an all-white cast, where they expressed their desire, okay, we need to mix it up a bit. How about this character like stereotypically French? So they have a beret and they have like a striped shirt. And I was like, okay, if you need to do that, can we at least make them a person of color? And they said, oh no, that would be weird. They're already French. So I want to do better than this, she asserted. Nice. Belair would then double down on her picky baby metaphor. I do like to image that when we look at white guys, and there's several of you here, I think when we look at you, we say, okay, you can't possibly enjoy this, but I think they also want, and maybe you also want to experience new and different stories. I think we need to step out of this rule that like white men can enjoy fantasy worlds, aliens, sci-fi, monsters, anything, so long as it's through a lens that looks exactly like them. That's never been the case. That is literally, man, I can't even get frustrated anymore because I know that she's just retarded. Like at this point, it's not even just stupidity. It's literal retardation. There's no other way to explain it. You literally just explained. You said that white men can enjoy fantasy worlds, aliens, sci-fi, monsters, and anything so long as it's through a lens that looks exactly like them. Okay, so fantasy worlds, all white people from the modern age, aliens. Name one white person that looks like an alien. Sci-fi, right? Monsters. What white person looks like all this stuff you mentioned is literally fantastical stuff, fantasy stuff. None of it is based in reality. Almost none of it is going to look exactly like the white people that you say it looks exactly like. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you'll have human characters, but aside from that, you mean to tell me white people look like elves? White people look like monsters? White people look like aliens? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's an oxymoron statement to the fullest. It says, because if that's the kind of person that we're always going to cater to, you're never going to innovate. You're never going to change things. You're going to keep feeding the picky baby, she continued, and we cannot continue to try to create art under a system that is going to bar innovation for fear of a picky baby throwing a tantrum. Just so you're aware, Kim, you realize that white people created this shit, right? Like, you realize white people created most of the fantasy that you know of, that anybody knows of, that anybody knows as true literary work. Like, you realize white people created a lot of that, almost all of it, and you're trying to say that now it needs to change. Why? Because you were led into the space. You were genuinely led into the space in good faith, and now you were disingenuously trying to change everything to your own personal worldview. You would make everything black if you were able to, and then tell everybody else that they're bigots if they don't enjoy it. Meanwhile, most of the things you're trying to say are white, and then that somehow is a problem. You need to get over yourself. You are a tourist. You do not belong here. You are not here in good faith. It's very obvious, and we need to bring gatekeeping back to a thing. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.
It's like eating a hot circle of garbage.